speaking and rename yourself with the role you'll be filling. It looks like we have all the roles filled. So with that, I'll turn it over to the Toastmaster of the day, distinguished Toastmaster Karen Baird.
Thank you. Thank you, and welcome to our guests. I want to welcome Brittany, who was invited today by Jelena. And I see somebody called Loving Hearts.
Oh my God.
So,
Lala!
Looks like Loving Hearts went
Lala!
Camera. I'm going to mute her while she's calling off to somebody in another room, and we'll greet her again when she comes back on. All right, do we have any club business that we want to discuss before we move into our meeting?
I have a couple of things. There is a town hall tonight. If anyone is interested in attending, it's open to all members. I also wanted to call attention that in the latest newsletter, we were recognized as one of the top 10 clubs with the highest education awards per base membership. So it's very exciting. Another thing to consider is that the club contests are coming up. I think we can send 2 people, and is it table topics and international speech competition this year?
No, it's my favorite kind of contest. It's the international speech contest. We always have that every year. In the international speech contest, people usually, you can give any kind of speech, but it's typically an inspirational type speech, a 5 to 7 minute speech. They call it international because if you win at the club, actually, if you win at the area, you can move on to the division, the district, semifinals, and then finally the international contest.
Damn it.
So you could wind up on the international stage. So that's the international speech. But the other contest they're having this year is called the evaluation contest. And what happens there is there's a speaker, they call him the test speaker. And the people who are competing listen to that speech. They go off into another room, come up with their analysis. Then they come back in one by one, and each person gives their evaluation of that speaker. I like the evaluation speech contest because when you view it, you can really learn a lot of information on how to give an effective evaluation. And you can see various people using their own techniques, the different things that they listen to, and it can really help you as an evaluator to grow. So our club is able to send 2 people forward to the area contest. And if this sounds like something that's exciting to you, I hope that you will volunteer as a club member to participate in this contest.
Great. And then the last thing I wanted to say is that there's an initiative to be the spark and pledge to bring a guest to a Toastmasters meeting in December. So if everyone wants to do that. But I think that's all I had for club business.
Okay. And as a reminder, our next meeting is on the second Tuesday in December, which will be the 10th. And that will be our last meeting of the year because normally we'd have it the 4th Tuesday, but that's Christmas Eve. So we'll just meet on December 10th, and then our next meeting will be in January 14th. So we have a good long break there. That's all the club business that I have. So let's go through the agenda. The agenda for today, we will have a word master. Bill Liverman is assigned to that role. Table topics master will be our club president, Jelena Verkler. Our first speaker, our only speaker today, will be the icebreaker speech for our new member, Anthony Gore. I'm very excited to hear that. We will then go into the evaluate. Oh, did I say table topics? Yes, okay, I did say that. Our general evaluator will be Toastmaster Kimberly Baird. We'll have the speech evaluation that will be by myself. So I will give an evaluation of Anthony's speech. we'll have a table topics evaluation. Do we have a table topics evaluator? Bill, you're on the agenda. Are you ready to be table topics evaluator today? I don't hear Bill's response. We have an open spot as an ah counter. Do we have somebody to volunteer as ah counter today?
You mean the all counter? Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
You want to be the ah? Okay, great. Thanks, Bill. And our timer role will be filled by Jelena. So that's our full agenda. As you can see, we have the speaking portion of the meeting, followed by the evaluation, followed by the impromptu speaking, and then an evaluation. That's how a typical Toastmaster meeting will run. So we'll start with our word master, who will give us a word of the day. So let's welcome Bill Liverman with the word of the day.
Good evening again with our Toastmasters. Word of the day. I'm so excited about the word of the day because the purpose of this is to help increase our word knowledge in different areas. So the word of today is plethora. And by definition, that word means an abundance, excessive amount of anything or any basic format. Give an example. During the Thanksgiving season, there are a plethora of turkeys that are being sold in the month of November. Again, plethora, that's P-L-E-T-H-O-R-A. And I repeat, during the Thanksgiving season, there are a plethora of turkeys being sold during the Thanksgiving holiday season.
Hey, Bill,
Thank
can
you
you
very
spell
much.
that word again?
It's plethora. That's P as in Paul, L-E-T-H-O-R-A. Plethora. Sometimes some pronunciations is plethora, but basically, generically, it's mostly plethora.
I placed the word into the chat. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Bill. Now, what we do at our meeting, in order to encourage everybody to use that word, if somebody uses the word throughout the course of the meeting, we're going to recognize that with some real or virtual applause. Okay, thank you, Bill. Now we're going to move forward in our meeting with the impromptu speaking, which I will call on our President Jelena to come forward and explain what we do for table topics and begin calling out volunteers.
Yes, so our table topics is where we practice our impromptu speaking. So you'll be given a prompt, which you won't know ahead of time, and you'll be asked to speak for 1 to 2 minutes on this. So I'm the timer. 1 minute, I will put up a green card. At 1 minute and 30 seconds, I will put up yellow. And at 2 minutes, I will put up red. Generally, you have about a 20 to 30 second grace period after I put up the red card. So for our guests, it's completely optional. If you'd like to try it, we'd love for you to jump in and give it a shot, but completely okay if you don't want to as well.
Yeah, I'll give it a try.
Awesome. Okay. And then, okay. Toastmaster Bill Liverman. Pick one of these transportation types and tell a story about a memorable trip you've taken in one. Planes, trains, or automobiles. So out of planes, trains, or automobiles, tell a story about a memorable trip you've taken in one of them.
Yes. Thank you, President Jelena. Thank you. A memorable trip that I've taken in my life. Well, I need to say that one of the trips that comes to mind is when our kids, our children now, David, Eric, and Pam, are in their 40s. But however, you go about over 40 years ago when they were 4, 3, and 1 years of age, we took a trip to Bridgehampton, New York. The time that I visited my father who lived in Bridgehampton, we flew there, and they had a great time visiting my father, their grandfather in Bridgehampton. Something I never heard of Bridgehampton, but those in sports, Carl Yastrzemski was a great baseball player, played baseball at Bridgehampton High School. So we flew there. On the way back, spent a week with my father. On the way back to Detroit, all of a sudden, the plane, the light shut down. Everything shut down, and the pilot said, "Be patient. Everything will be okay." So what happened? My daughter Erica said, "Mom and Dad, are we going to crash?" So what happened? We found a crash. No, not crash, but we landed in Detroit. Two sets of people. Either they went to the bathroom or to the bar once the plane landed. And that was a trip I would never forget. And my kids to this day still talk about the trip to New York where the plane almost crashed. So that was a memorable trip. It was like there was 30 years ago. It seems like yesterday. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so for our next question, Toastmaster Karen Baird, who has the worst job? Those cooking the Thanksgiving meal or those cleaning up after it? Which would you prefer?
Ooh, very interesting question. Because in my estimation, the enjoyment of a job is the satisfaction you feel with being productive in producing something. Now, when you're cooking the meal, it's like being a project manager. You have all kinds of pieces and parts. You have to time it. You have to make sure that everything's made to perfection and everything comes together at the last minute at that deadline. So if you can pull it off, there's a great sense of satisfaction in that. On the downside, it has to taste good. I've been to some Thanksgivings where, Kimberly, remember the first one where Jeff was there? Oh, man. It came together, but it was awful. For the cleanup, though, that's kind of hard to mess that up. And there is a sense of satisfaction in seeing a big mess condensed down to a little one and to have it all put away. And you look around, looking good. On the downside, while you're doing all that cleanup, you're missing out on the party. So if I was to say which one I would rather do, I'd rather be that project managing chef at the beginning part, because then I could get really excited, enjoy getting everything mixed up. Look at that plethora of food on the table. Everybody enjoying it. Of course, my food would be really tasty. And when I was done, I could just visit. I wouldn't have to worry about cleanup. So that's what I think is the better of the two jobs.
Thank you. I think I'd rather do neither. Okay. Toastmaster Kimberly Baird, Cooley. Have you ever participated in Black Friday shopping? Why or why not? And if so, do you have any stories? Black Friday shopping.
Thank you for such a topical question. I have not participated in Black Friday shopping where one wakes up at 3, 4, 5 a.m. and goes to get their lawn chair and puts it outside the Best Buy because you need the newest DVD player and all that kind of thing. For multiple reasons. Number one, I enjoy my sleep. And in order to enjoy your sleep, you can't be getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning if you also went to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning. So it's just not in the cards for me for that reason. Reason number two that it does not work for me. There is nothing that I want so much that I'm willing to sit in a line of people who also want the same thing as me, and I have to compete with them for something that I truly do not need. So there's nothing in the world that will spur me to want to get up that early, compete with people to purchase something. Reason number three that I don't like to do Black Friday shopping. I don't like to feel like I'm under pressure to buy. I enjoy the hunt. My favorite kind of shopping is thrift shopping. I want to find a treasure. I want to dig through a pile of garbage that other people have discarded to find the special treasure within the garbage pile. And on Black Friday, they make you feel like everything's a treasure, and it's too much pressure. I can't handle it. So, for those reasons, I don't do Black Friday shopping, but no judgment to anybody else that does. It's just not for me.
Thank you. I don't go Black Friday shopping either. Okay. Toastmaster Anthony Gore. Would you rather go to a Thanksgiving parade or a Thanksgiving NFL game?
Great question. I will most definitely take the NFL game over the Thanksgiving parade. The parade, in my estimation, would be too cold to stand outside. And now that we have the hottest football team in the NFL within a dome, I would definitely enjoy being in that plethora of people in that environment. Um, I wish I could go to the game on Thursday when they play the Chicago Bears, um, instead of working or being outside in the parade. As they say, the temperature is supposed to drop by Thursday. So between the two, I will most definitely choose the football game.
Thank you. All right. Brittany, when is the right time to decorate for Christmas?
You know me. That is a great question. I would say it varies on each family. There's a big debate about whether you put your Christmas decorations up before Thanksgiving or after Thanksgiving. Um, so I guess that's the big question. Me personally, I usually want to put my Christmas decorations up the day after Halloween, but this year I showed restraint and I waited to the following weekend after. And then the Christmas tree, I'm actually putting up this week. So I'm actually following the other half where people do like after Thanksgiving, almost going that route. So yeah, I guess it just depends on your level of excitement and whether or not you want to put like Thanksgiving decorations up, do like the fall decor. It also depends on your level of like how into holiday decor you are. Some people are very into decorating for the different holidays, and other people don't really mind it. So, yeah, I guess that's the question. Me personally, I'm all about doing the decorations whenever you're feeling it.
Thank you. And then last, is it Candace?
Yes, it's Candace.
Candace, would you like to do a table topic?
I might not be ready this time.
Totally fine. That's totally fine. Whenever you are ready, we are ready for you to jump in.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And with that, I think that concludes our table topic. So I will return to our Toastmaster of the day, Karen Barrett.
Thank you. In every Toastmasters meeting, we always want to have prepared speeches. Today, we have a very special prepared speech from Anthony Gore. He's going to give us his icebreaker speech. For the sake of our guests, I want to explain that the icebreaker is the very first prepared speech. So this is very special. And Anthony is required to have the topic of himself. It's the only time we require a topic specifically. So let's welcome Anthony as he gives a 4 to 6 minute speech, his icebreaker speech. Welcome, Anthony.
Thank you, everyone. The day after Christmas, 2003, a boy father loses his fight with cancer and drug abuse. That same boy, 4 months later, found his mother dead of an overdose. The very next day, that boy turns 18 and becomes a man. I was that boy. I am that man. Before I proceed, I must give uh, reference and appreciation to my auntie and grandmother who took me in at the age of 4 years old. Hence, I wouldn't be here in front of you guys today telling the speech if it wasn't for them. So, after graduation 2004, I went to the University of Toledo in the fall of 2004 to pursue an undergrad degree in professional sales and marketing. I graduated in 4 years in 2008. However, during that time, the transitioning of college or from high school to college was real. It was very tough. During my time in undergrad, I had a plethora of jobs, internships, and other things to support me during my journey. I also pledged a fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. So undergrad was a challenge, but a necessary challenge to be where I am today. After graduation in 2008, I moved to Cincinnati, Ohio, where I started a brief sales career in third-party logistics. I worked at a company called Total Quality Logistics for about 6 months. After I found out that wasn't a good fit for me, I went back to the drawing board and I redirected my career path in education. I started off as a substitute teacher within Cincinnati Public Schools at an elementary school called Mount Airy. From there, I proceeded to teach high school math and coach high school basketball, boys and girls. In 2017, I went to University of Dayton Law School for 1 year. Being a lawyer was always a passion of mine, but that didn't pan out. I didn't make the curve. However, I didn't fail any classes, but I didn't make the curve. So during that time, I went back to education and was going back and forth between jobs. 2019, now my wife, then my fiance, she told me, she was like, would you like to move back to Michigan? I just got a job offer from a company called IHA. Would you like to move back home? And I said, yes, most definitely. I would love to go back home. And 2019, we got married, the love of my life, Candace Gore. We were married in Columbus, Ohio. And 2019, we moved back to Michigan. From 2021 until now, I work for an excellent company called DAPSAT, Detroit Area Pre-College Engineering Program. Within that position, I serve as a program manager for the organization. We provide STEM education for pre-K through 12th grade students, and we service over 16,000 students a year. Candace and I have a beautiful son by the name of Caden Anthony Gore, and we have a beautiful Frenchie by the name of Kobe. Thank you, Toastmasters, for your time.
Okay, and now I'm going to give you a standing ovation.
Yes.
Because this is your first time and you got through it, and I'll give you your formal evaluation in a minute or two, but congratulations. How do you feel?
Woo! I feel better now. Yes, I feel relieved.
Great. All right, Toastmasters. We're now going to move into the evaluation portion of the meeting. During the evaluation portion, like I explained earlier about the evaluation contest, evaluation is so important in Toastmasters. First, it's what the speaker needs. The speaker needs to hear that evaluation so that they can grow. If you just keep practicing speaking, but you don't get the feedback, then you might be avoiding or not even realizing that there's an area where you need to build up your skills. But it's also excellent for the evaluator. We learn to listen. We learn to actively listen and to listen with the purpose of giving communications back and to build somebody up, to edify. So now with that, we're going to go into the evaluation portion of our meeting. First, I will give an evaluation of the speaker, and then we'll move forward with other evaluations of other parts of the meeting. So I'm going to give a 2 to 3 minute evaluation of Anthony. So you can start timing now. Anthony, congratulations. I am blown away by this icebreaker speech. I know that you really worked on it and that you were so excited to be here today, and I will congratulate you on that very first effort. You gave us a really nice chronological expose about yourself. I like how you started with a little story. You started with the story, always an excellent way to capture the audience's attention. Stories are remembered far more than data when you're giving a speech. So you gave us that family background, the education, the career. You gave us the personal story about, the marriage, the children, the family, and your passion, education, law, and then your passion for DAPSEP, for the STEM career. So in all of those things, it's an insight into you, who you are at heart. I can see that you're a fighter. I see that you set goals. I see that you don't give up, that if you get knocked down, you're back up and back in the game. So that I feel we learned a lot about you. Now, what could you do to improve? What could you do to step up your game for your next speech? I'm going to say that on your next speech, one of the things that you could focus on, I'm not going to give you 10 things to focus on. I'm just going to give you one thing to focus on, and that would be filler words. On your next speech, let's try to be aware of the filler words, and, but, so, actually, kind of, those words that we don't need to use those words. They just take up space. So instead of using the filler word, go for the pause. The pause is actually adds a dramatic effect. So when you pause, it actually draws the audience in, and they're anticipating what's coming next. So I'll just give you that one item to focus on for next time instead of trying to overload you with so many things. Oh, one other thing I wanted to comment on is that I noticed that you gave good eye contact to the camera. And in the world of Zoom, the camera is the audience. So that was also very well done. Overall, I'm proud of you, Anthony. I know you worked hard on this speech and you did a great job. So keep that same excitement and enthusiasm moving forward.
Thank you, Toastmaster Karen. Thank you.
Our next portion, we will, you know what, I'm going to introduce our general evaluator who will take the rest of the evaluation of the meeting from here. Toastmaster Kimberly.
Hello, everybody. I am the general evaluator, so I evaluate the meeting overall. And I have a helper, I have several helpers. I have the counter grammarian. That role is currently filled by Dr. Bill Liverman. We have the timer, Jelena, Madam President Verkler. And after we go through the timing, the counting, the grammarian report, then I will give my overall report of the meeting in general. So I will turn it over to Toastmaster Bill Liverman for the grammarian counter report.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Toastmaster. Kimberly, thank you very much for that intro. And if you can't hear me, please raise your hand, but I think everything should be good and clear. At this time, I get very excited about the assessment of the report. And we know as a Toastmaster, there's the words such as filler words, and so it's just human nature. And the purpose of Toastmaster is to help minimize these words as we move forward in our career. At this time, if you look at the R counter, and so in that whole process, Jelena, you had one R, President Jelena, one R, Karen, two souls, Kimberly, there was one so and one and. Anthony, well, I enjoyed your speech, Anthony, I enjoyed. There were three R's. But let me say a quick thing regarding Anthony's speech. For those in sports, since we have a football game coming up this, Thursday?
Yes.
And I'm sure, Anthony, you probably heard this before. I love football. There's an athlete who retired years ago named Jerome Bettis. And I remember, you probably heard this before. If you look at him, if you look at Anthony, he played for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he attended Kansas High School in Detroit.
I get that all the time.
That before. That's Jerome Bettis' brother.
That's funny. I heard that the other day, Bill. That's funny.
Yes, indeed. But anyway, I just had to say that. Another thing too, I believe you're Kappa Alpha Psi. Well, we're going to forgive you because I'm an Alpha Phi Alpha, so I forgive you. Overall, I enjoy your speech. All right. Now, moving on, Brittany, there was one R and one soul. And I believe that completes. And Karen, two souls, Karen. Overall, great speech, great use of minimizing filler words and the whole process. Thank you very much. Now, I don't think I omitted anyone. I believe that was okay. That was it.
Thank you, Dr. Liverman. Well, add another one on to me for the filler words because I just did one. Are we evaluating table topics? I'm not sure where we landed on that. You're muted.
Well, let's find out if anybody was prepared to evaluate table topics. Was there somebody assigned? Because I do see that Dr. Bill was assigned to evaluate table topics, at least on the agenda, but I don't know if, were you aware?
I missed it. I'm sorry.
That's okay. We can skip it this time. So let's move on to the timers report. Madam President Jelena Verkler, would you please give us our timers report?
Of course. So for our table topics, we had Brittany tell us when we should decorate for Christmas in 1 minute and 9 seconds. Anthony talked about how cool it would be to go to that Lions game in 50 seconds. Kimberly stated why she did not enjoy Black Friday shopping in 1 minute and 46. Bill Liverman gave us a story about a plane almost crashing in 1 minute and 34. And Karen gave some insight into what type of job she wants for Thanksgiving in 1 minute and 38 seconds. Anthony was so brave today, gave his icebreaker speech in 4 minutes and 16 seconds. And Karen gave her evaluation in 2 minutes and 48 seconds. And that concludes my timers report.
Thank you. We will move on to the general evaluation of the meeting. This portion of the meeting is where I share my observations about everything that has taken place during the meeting. We started on time. With the exception of the table topics evaluation, which is specific to our club, so it's not a normal role. We filled all of the remaining roles quickly and efficiently. We had the a great word of the day, which was plethora, and multiple people used it. So congratulations to everybody that used the word of the day. A friendly reminder to put the word of the day in the chat whenever you have the opportunity, along with the definition. We moved on to table topics. Jelena, your table topics were seasonally appropriate and very fun, so I appreciate that. Thank you so much. We did finish our table topic section a little bit early, which is okay. We were 3 minutes early. Everybody had thoughtful and interesting answers to the questions that were asked. One of the pieces of feedback that we frequently get with table topics as a challenge to all of us is to have an opening and a concluding statement with your table topic. That's something that I really struggle with, so I've been working on it. We next moved on to our prepared speech, which was so good. Congratulations on your first speech.
Yeah.
That was awesome. We learned so much about Anthony. I don't know that there's anything else that I could say that Toastmaster Karen Baird has not already said, but great job.
Thank you.
Great work. And our evaluation portion of the meeting, we arrived ahead of schedule. We were projected to be there at 6:44. We got to this section of the meeting at 6:28. Not a big deal. And that brings us to current. So overall, we had a very efficient meeting. Everybody explained their roles well, in my opinion. And that is where we're at now. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I want to welcome our, I want to say Division Director, Chris Nikra, who looks like he's coming home from a luau.
Well, I don't have a skirt. Hello, hello. Thank you for having me over here. Sorry if I'm running a little bit late or behind, but it's always a pleasure to be with you all. I probably would have get.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chris. All right, and now I would like to give our guests an opportunity to make comments, reflect, ask questions. What did you think of this meeting? And I'll start with Candace. And I'll ask Candace, would your last name be Gore?
No.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if it was the same Candace. I didn't know.
My last name is Jefferson. I'm Candace Jefferson.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's nice to meet you guys here. This is my first time, of course, being a part of this platform. I'm learning how to build my confidence to speak in front of an audience. I've never done it before. I mean, I've tried because I'm a business owner, so I've tried it, but I wasn't good. So I'm like, oh my God, I need to learn. I need to learn how to speak better, especially if I'm out here trying to market my business. So that's why I'm here. And I enjoy what I've heard so far. And I'm like, I can see where this could really help me. And I would be a nervous wreck in the beginning.
Candace, we all start out that way.
Right.
I don't think anybody started out and said, I'm so good, I don't really need to do this, but you know.
Candace, I was over here sweating bullets. I was nervous.
Oh my God. That's how I'm gonna be too. I'm gonna be praying all the time. Like I was praying, listening to you. I'm like, oh my God, this is what I'm about to do.
Well, Candace, I hope you enjoyed I hope what you saw today, that you can see the benefit and that you found it inspiring.
Yes, I did.
And I'm going to ask you to put your contact information in the chat, your name, email, phone number, and then I'll follow up with you sometime within the next week.
Okay.
And just send you some more information, okay?
Okay.
Is there
great.
anything that you saw that you want to ask questions about? Anything that you were surprised about?
No, just like I would like how I just heard Anthony's speech, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to give a speech that long, So I'm just like flabbergasted by that, like, oh my God. But otherwise, no.
Okay, great. Brittany, so you were invited by Jelena. So
Yeah.
So what did you think about tonight's meeting? Do you have questions or any observations?
Yeah, it's everything Jelena said it would be. I just kicked myself for not coming sooner to a meeting. She told me like the value of the group, like kind of the structure, like what she's gotten out of it, and just doing a table topic. I can definitely see firsthand like why the group is so valuable.
Mhm.
I work with Jelena at Blue Cross, and we present sometimes, and I've always struggled with public speaking, so I thought I'd give this a try.
Well, great. We're glad that you came to visit us today, and I invite you also to put your contact information in the chat. And Candace and Brittany, I wouldn't be a Toastmaster if I didn't invite you to join our club. So I'm inviting you to join our club. We would love to have you as members. As you can see, we are a very open, welcoming, and supportive group. And I feel we are a very dynamic and very productive Toastmaster club. So
Yeah, the diversity is great. I saw Anthony's background dapps up. I can remember in 2019 doing a volunteer project when I was in the service ops area, with our diversity team, partnered with DAPSUP, and we did a like education session. So I was like, I know DAPSUP, so it's really cool to be on the call with some people from different organizations.
great. I want to ask our division director, Chris, do you have any comments that you wanted to make? I don't know if you're driving or if you're able to talk.
Yes, thank you very much for once again having me on the stage. I just want to say wonderful group. I'm bummed that I just came on the timers report and I missed out the icebreaker, but congratulations for giving your first icebreaker. I know it's once you start your first speech, it's just that's the part of the journey from there. It's the path just opens up to more success right there. And I encourage our guests, Brittany and 10X Loving Hearts, to be part of Toastmasters. It's going to be okay. I remember when I did my first speech, I was sweating bullets too, and I was afraid of choking on myself, but we managed it through, and look at us now. We all come together like family. So thank you.
Appreciate those words, Chris. Thank you.
Anytime. Congratulations.
So now comes the time in the meeting where we look forward to our next meeting and look to fill the agenda. So our next meeting is December 10th. We are going to have a speech by Bill Moylan on that day. So that's on the agenda. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that speech Bill's going to give in a minute. But is there anybody who would like to fill a specific role on that date? It's your last chance this year to fill a role.
Can I give a speech?
Absolutely. Let me get into the editing on the agenda, and then I will mark you for a speech.
Is there room for a third speaker, Karen?
Always, we make room for a third speech.
Okay, count me in.
All right, I'm just going to mark you down here on this paper for now.
Okay.
May I please have one of the evaluator spaces? I need more practice with that. Thank you.
Anthony, is there something you'd like to try for next time?
We have our board meeting that day, so I won't be able to attend until the 14th of next year.
Okay.
In January. But sorry about that.
All right. Returning guests, would you be interested in coming next time, do you think, on December 10th?
Yeah, I'll definitely come.
Okay, great. I'll just mark you down.
Yeah, definitely.
And Candace, you think you might be coming next time?
It's for this meeting right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, great. And so I'll pick a role too. Now listen, next time we meet, Bill Liverman is going to give a speech. And the purpose of his speech is to practice managing a difficult audience. So we have roles to fill of different ways of being difficult. So who would like to be difficult when Bill speaks?
Hold on. I can. Thanks, Jelena.
Okay, Kim,
Well,
Jelena, Bill Lieberman, I think you want to be difficult too.
no, Jelena ready to beat me up. She ready to beat me up right now.
All right, so what I'll do before, I'm the evaluator, so what I'm going to do before the next meeting on December 10th, I'm going to send you're not all going to know what each other are doing, but each one of you will be asked to interrupt in a specific way, do it one time during his speech, all right? So I think it will be really fun. And if there's any visitors that day, they'll really be in for a treat, huh? All right. All right, that's great. I think we have completed all the requirements for our meeting. Again, thank you, guests. Thank you, Anthony, for doing your first icebreaker. If there's any, I want to say that I neglected to post the recording from the last meeting. So once this recording is done, I will post the recordings for both what we met on the 12th and tonight. So before I conclude the meeting, I will open the floor if there's anybody who has any questions, comments, or other business that we want to attend to. Kimberly.
I just did it. I just wanted to point out that someone in our club who does a really great job at the pause instead of using filler words is Dottie Hamilton. So anybody who is trying to work on that, myself included, I think about Dottie and how she approaches her speaking because she's so good at not using any filler words.
Dottie couldn't be here tonight. Also, just FYI, Felice and Bill couldn't be here tonight, but they, as far as I know, they're all intending to be here next time. And I don't know what happened with Artemis. She was here at the beginning, but she did say she wasn't feeling well. So I don't know if she had technical difficulties or just, maybe wasn't up to it. So thank you, everybody. We look forward to our next meeting. That was also, thank you for that insight, Kimberly. So with that, thank you and good night.
Good night, everybody. And have a good Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Thank you.